Hey there, everybody. Hey, welcome to this latest episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning. As always, I'm your humble host, Van Ebert, and we will be talking about a little Den of Thieves 2 Pantera in this episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning. So, yes, you have walked into the right room. You're in the right place, okay? Have no fear. You are here. Grab a beer. All right. So, man, that rhymed. Nice. And I'm going to pat myself on the back on that one right there. Okay. But while I'm doing that, let me give you something to dance to.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
Well, hello there. Fancy seeing you here at Movies Merica. Spoiler warning. And yes, you know what? I just want to thank everybody for giving me a break and understanding this last Sunday when I normally would do my Movies Merica Live spoiler-free review. I was down with the sickness right there. Okay, so I was very, very, disturbed. I was down with the sickness right there, sick as a dog, okay? But, you know, enough crying and whining from me about being sick, okay? I'm fully recovered, all right? So it's nothing that some heavy drugs couldn't take care of in my recovery process. But I'm back, obviously, and you are back. And thank you for joining me. And let me welcome my fellow movie maniacs and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. Welcome here to the show. And then, hell, even if you don't fit into any of those two categories, welcome yourself, okay? Bring it on in. And, you know, instead of having to just hear me yap and chatter all night long and you just sit there and just like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to deal with that. You don't have to settle for that. You can live chat with me all about Den of Thieves 2 or any movies or Gerard Butler. Maybe you think you have a cute butt. I don't know. Anything you want to live chat with me about, you can definitely do that on YouTube or Rumble, okay? Because I definitely want to hear from you guys. It's boring. I mean, I'm the host of the show, and even I'll admit it'd be boring if you just sat there and listened to me yap, the whole time. Come on, very boring. So there you go. And hey, speaking of which, right there, we've got our first victim of the day. I mean, a champion and welcome guest of the day right there. Beyond Formal with, hey, movies, cute butt. There you go. Oh, yeah. It's probably like, that shirt looks so cute on you. Isn't that what, like, women always say to each other? Like, that's one thing I've always found kind of very, very, very slightly interesting is a lot of times, like me as a heterosexual guy, I'll see a woman and she's wearing something like just smoking hot. Okay, even like the gay guys got to go, you know, it's smoking hot. And then what do other women call it? They call it cute. And I'm like, cute's not really the word I would go for, but I guess that's a woman-to-woman thing. Call it cute. I'd call it smoking hot. But all right, there you go. It's hey, different strokes for different folks and all that stuff. So, but just one of my stupid observations that I've picked up over a lifetime of whatever. So, okay. So, but yeah, let's talk about some Den of Thieves 2 Pantera. And Pantera, I believe that's Italian for panther, I believe, is what Pantera is right there. And it's also a very well-known heavy metal band, of course. But we won't be talking about Cowboys from Hell or anything like that here in this episode. But you know what? Let's check out the trailer for Den of Thieves 2 just to get things warmed up.
When I grew up, I got a gun. I got a badge. I started a hunt. He got over on me. No one gets over on me. Stop. Freeze there.
This is your suspect?
No.
No?
No.
There's a reason why you're all here. We're here to rob the World Diamond Center.
You know, you gotta imagine Ice Cube is proud of his son right there, O'Shea Jackson Jr. That's in case you didn't know, that is it's the son of Ice Cube from NWA right there. So, and he's creating quite the movie career like his dad did back in the day. You know, with a barbershop and Are We There Yet and all those movies.
Over 50 billion in diamonds moves through here each year. This will be our biggest job on the continent.
Grab a seat. Cracks me up when people pull guns on people. You're not a killer. I am.
Word around the LA streets is that they fired your ass.
I'm broke. And I'm sick of being a hunter. So your next job, I'm gonna do it with you. Set it up.
We have a problem.
Marlboro Man. How'd you guys meet?
Prison.
Tinder, actually.
You in the most secure building in continental Europe.
There's only one place they're not looking.
Oh, Raul.
These streets, they're different. And if a mistake is made, only blood is paid.
That car going over the cliff, that looks like that's kind of a stolen stunt from Quantum of Solace. There in the opening car chase of Quantum of Solace, the second Daniel Craig James Bond movie right there, where in that movie, that car chase at the beginning of Quantum of Solace was pretty much the only good thing about that movie. So if you ever fire up Quantum of Solace, just watch like the first 5 minutes of it with the cool car chase, and then just turn it off once the car chase is over.
It's not about the money. It's about the challenge.
Stand by.
Can I get in and get out?
3, 2, 1.
Without anyone even knowing I was there. You feeling it?
Yeah, I'm feeling it.
Watch our 6.
Mac. Drive. You sure? Call out brakes.
Copy. And the cop goes gangster.
All right, so that's just to wet your whistle there. And, of course, I am assuming everyone has seen this movie here because, again, this is the spoiler warning show. And so spoilers have free reign in this episode. Now, if that is news to you, but you still want to support me in a way that costs you absolutely nothing, feel free to mute this show and, just keep it fired up. Mute it and go and do whatever else you need to do because that still helps me out. It still counts as someone watching it, but at the same time, not ruining the movie for you because, I don't want to be that guy. I do not want to be that guy that ruins the movie for you. Now, hey, if you don't care about spoilers, well, you have a superpower that I don't have, to be perfectly honest. But just like the first one here in the Den of Thieves cinematic universe, Den of Thieves 2 Pantera, I mean, it's trying to be like a more accessible, slightly noisier Heat. Remember Heat from Michael Mann, classic movie. It was like the first joining of forces of Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. Okay, because of course Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, they were both in The Godfather Part 2, but their characters never met because, of course, Robert De Niro played not Sonny Corleone, not Michael Corleone, Vito Corleone. There you go. Apparently, it's been too long since I've seen the Godfather movies. But he played the younger Vito Corleone. And then, of course, Al Pacino was his son, Michael Corleone. And so they were not in the same timeline in The Godfather Part 2. But fast forward from 1974, I think is when The Godfather Part 2, to 1995. And then Heat came out. And finally, film lovers everywhere got their first movie where you got Robert De Niro and Al Pacino playing off of each other there in Heat right there. And so Heat is also like the heist movie that all other heist movies are now judged against. It's kind of like the litmus test there for all heist movies now. Because it for good reason, because Michael Mann's Heat movie is a masterclass in style and pacing and atmosphere and character development and badass action scenes and whatnot. Like even the shootout in the middle of the movie, where they're coming out of the bank and, Pacino's squad, intercepts them and they've got the big gunfight going on in the streets of downtown LA. Even the military, they play that scene for newbies into the military to show like proper gun handling technique, proper mag loading, that kind of thing. So positioning, bracketing, all of that stuff there. They actually use a movie scene to do that right there. And Beyond Formal, yes, it looks good in the trailer there. The trailer made it look better than I personally thought it was right there. I mean, my recommendation, if I had been able to do a spoiler-free review last Sunday, my recommendation would have been like, if you have to wait for this to come out on streaming, that's cool. If someone's giving you a free ticket to go see this movie in the theater, go check it out. But you don't have to go to the theater, check out Den of Thieves 2, not whatsoever. But and there's better Gerard Butler movies to watch, and I will go over those later on in my top 5 Gerard Butler movie list right there. But hey, thanks Beyond Formal for mentioning that. That reminded me to tease my top 5 Gerard Butler list for later on right there. And that way you can hear my top 5 list and you can go like, what the hell are you talking about? That movie, that list sucks there. What the hell? Or you can be like, wow, that's awesome, man. Those are the exact five movies I would have had in my list, and in the exact same order right there. You're genius right there. I'm not counting on that being their reaction, but you never know. But again, so back to Den of Thieves 2, and it takes place in LA. Well, the first Den of Thieves takes place in LA, just like Heat did. That's why I brought up Heat in the first place. And in Den of Thieves 2, our headlining characters, again, Nicholas Big Nick O'Brien, played by the pride of Sparta, Gerard Butler. And then his nemesis is Donnie Wilson, who sounds like he's a 50s R&B star, but no, it's a character in Den of Thieves 2. But his nemesis is Donnie Wilson, played by Ice Cube's kid, O'Shea Jackson Jr., and Donnie is the only returning thief from the first movie. So, hey, if you haven't seen the first Den of Thieves, spoilers right there. But as we see with the first scene, Donnie has actually moved up in the world of thievery, in the world of burglary and heists and all that stuff, with a slick operation populated, basically just he has like this new crew that he's rolling with in this. And if I remember right, I guess it's been a little too long since I saw the first Den of Thieves, but at the very end of Den of Thieves, they show Donnie, and he's like in a London pub, and he's working as a bartender. And this is after the events of the first movie. This is at the end, obviously. And he's there, and he's like kicking it with some new friends over in England. I can't remember if those new friends in England at that pub were the same crew that he's rolling with in the beginning of Den of Thieves 2 right there. But I can't remember. But in Den of Thieves 2 at the beginning of it, yeah, he's basically he's doing a heist. He's doing a heist with a new crew right there. And, it's a very slick operation there. And then one of the more notable members of his new crew is Giovanna. And she's like this coordinator / spotter. You see her and she's like at this hotel that's overlooking this industrial airport that this heist is taking place, because it looks like it's an airport that, it's got a big shipyard right by it, and the cranes and all that stuff, and then you got all these private hangars at this industrial airport. And so she checks into a hotel. She picks a room with a window overlooking the industrial airport, so she can kind of be the spotter, be the eyes in the sky, that kind of thing. But her name is Giovanna, and she's played by Evin Ahmad, who I've never seen before, but she's not bad in this movie. And then, Donnie, back to Donnie, he is far from the clueless, timid, insignificant type character he played in Den of Thieves, because in that movie, you don't really think much of him. He is portrayed as this character that is just kind of entering. He's he's entering into the criminal world for the first time. Okay, he is entry level. No one's answering to him. No one's taking orders from him. He's just, still in that, hey, what do I do? Oh, what do you want me to do? Oh, you want me to go over here? Oh, should I go up there? Like, how do I do this? Like, that kind of mode in the criminal underworld. And that's how he's portrayed at the beginning. He's very insignificant here. Now, in this new one, he's going for the gold in the old Danny Ocean Olympic Games, okay? They portray him as like, this slick Willie, he's in these, personally tailored cut suits, and he's rocking the bling, and he's got a nice watch and all that stuff. Then for the inverse, we have Big Nick, okay? Again, played by Gerard Butler, and of course, he's like this lumbering, stumbling, big Irish lug, with the fashion sense of a Russian mobster and the judgment of a drunken 80s Wall Street stock trader, okay? He's just a mess, and he was a mess in the first Den of Thieves too, okay? I mean, that's the thing, like Hollywood, what they like to do here in the last, 20 years or so at least, is they feel that having like straight up heroes in movies and TV series is too corny, too predictable. And so now we live in the era of anti-heroes, right? Like Walter White, in Breaking Bad, Tommy Shelby and Peaky Blinders, all these anti-heroes. And in the Den of Thieves cinematic universe, Big Nick is an anti-hero in here. And when you mix, when you think of like Donnie and Big Nick, joining forces, it looks like it's going to blend about as well as a big frozen turkey dropped into a deep fryer in the middle of your shag carpeted living room. Okay, that kind of a catastrophe in waiting. Though, as we do see, do not judge a book by its chain smoking cheap leather jacket cover. So it's do not assume whatsoever in this particular game there. All right. So again, let me know in the live chat, if you've seen the movie. Hey, did you like it? Did you kind of like it? Did you love it? Did you absolutely hate it? All right, you're going to burn the movie theater down that you saw it in just for the offense of them playing that movie. Don't do that. Don't do that. All right, don't do it. That's what we call extra. Okay, that's going a little too far right there. So don't do that. Just don't ever see the movie again. That's all you have to do. Right there. Okay, it's all good. All right. So let me let you guys know about something here that you guys are going to be very glad that I let you guys know all about here. And that is our tdpn.locals.com website that you see right up there at the very tippy top, tdpn.locals.com. And you may be asking yourself, what is that, Van? Well, I shall tell you. So that is our Till Death Podcast Network website, where we have great content on it, like videos and blogs and articles, all about everything from like movies and entertainment to cocktail recipes to politics to hot button topics of the day that everybody's talking about and you need to know about. Otherwise, you're going to be the only dumbass in the whole group that has no idea what everybody's talking about, all right? So to avoid that ugly situation, check out tdpn.locals.com. And as you see down below right there, if you put in promo code TDPN, you get 1 month free membership. Pretty sweet, huh? Yeah, you're going to be telling everybody about your free month. They're going to be like, jealous. Yeah, so there you go. So if you want to have that awesome privilege, then yeah, get there and put in that promo code TDPN. And then after that 1 month free, which will go fast, okay, it's just a measly $3 minimum to keep your VIP access to tdpn.locals.com. So go ahead and check it out. Hey, you're probably going to find out your friends, your family are already checking it out, okay? Because just slow your roll, just slow your roll on going to the family reunion and walking in there, like an eager beaver, a little too excitable and going, hey, Uncle Marty, have you heard about tdpn.locals.com? It's awesome, man. It's awesome. Because Uncle Marty might be like, check this guy out. Oh, my God. He's just now checking out tdpn.locals.com? Oh, my God, what a loser. All right, so if you want to avoid that, all right, just, just practice a little caution right there because chances are, hey, everybody is already going to tdpn.locals.com right there, all right? And real quick here, while it's top of mind here, go ahead, if you would, and just drop kick that like button here on this episode, if you would, pretty please, with sugar on top, okay? And then also, while you're down there clicking buttons, if you want to click on that subscribe or follow button, if you haven't already, on on the platform that you're watching this on, go right ahead. You have my permission, okay? And then also, there's the notification bell down there to click on if you haven't clicked on that already. And that does exactly like what it sounds like. Whenever there's a brand new, piping hot, fresh episode of Movies Merica, you're going to hear it ding, 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 ding. And that doesn't mean your Jiffy Pop is done. No, that means there's a brand new episode of the show that this guy does right here, waiting for you. Okay. And then if you happen not to be watching this live and so you lost out on your chance to live chat and talk about this movie, well, have no fear. Okay. You can get in the comments section down below. And yeah, let me know. Hey, what do you think of the show? Maybe you hate it. Maybe you love it. What do you think about the movie that I'm reviewing this week, Den of Thieves 2? Again, maybe you hate it with the heat of 1,000 suns. Maybe you want to marry it, okay? Or you're just kind of like, it's good, that kind of thing. Let me know. Or what's your favorite Gerard Butler movie? Go crazy in the comments is the point of what I'm saying right there, okay? Get it done. Let's do this right here. Okay. So again, yeah, live chat. So, and if you know of anybody, like if anybody comes to mind that you even remotely suspect would like to check out this show right now live, because you're like, didn't Lisa go and see Den of Thieves 2 and she was looking really forward to it? Yes, I think she did. Yeah. Hey, well, there's this show called Movies Merica, spoiler warning right now. And it's on right now. Lisa can go in live chat with this guy on the screen all about Den of Thieves 2. Oh, I think she would like that. Yes, go ahead and send the link to her. Yeah, there you go. So send the link to Lisa or your Uncle Marty or whoever, okay, if you even remotely think that they're interested in talking about this movie or any Gerard Butler or O'Shea Jackson Jr. Or Ice Cube Jr. Movie that they want to talk about. There you go. But to the vein of Den of Thieves 2, that was poorly phrased right there. I admit that. So let's get back into the Den of Thieves 2 Pantera world, shall we? And I think this movie, it does a good job at giving you the impression from the jump that this movie, it's going to be like a sophisticated, tense, slick, well-polished action thriller. And it does that all with that opening heist scene at the airport. Okay, so, we see Donnie and we see the rest of his crew. And then we see, like I was talking about before, we saw Giovanna. She's, up in that airport hotel looking down and keeping tabs on everything, playing spotter. Again, their eyes in the sky, letting them know, 5-0's on their way, or, you got 2 seconds. The call went out to dispatch. You got 2 seconds, 2 minutes, to wrap things up. She's kind of that way. She's kind of doing that. And then you see, the crew, they drive up, up on this cargo plane that's in this private hangar and they're there to steal a diamond. Okay, so at this point, though, before when the scene starts, you don't know what they're stealing, right? You don't know if it's like barabons, like on Die Hard, or Heat. You don't know if they're stealing ice, like they are in this movie right here. They're going at this big pink diamond. Quite frankly, it looks like the pink diamond from Blood Diamond, the movie Blood Diamond with Leo DiCaprio right here. But this whole heist here, it just shows they're all technically proficient, monitoring and sabotaging airport communications. They're handling their weapons professionally, and they have an escape plan. Okay, they're coordinating like, hey, you take care of those guys, you take care of those guys right there. They're controlling the environment, okay, making sure that things go as efficiently as possible. Okay, these guys have done plenty of dry runs on this, so you can just tell these guys are rock and roll. Like Al Pacino's character in Heat. At the drop of a hat, these guys were rock and roll, okay, here. And I like the lighting that they used in the shipyard and the industrial airport here. I mean, it's just got that very cool atmospheric lighting to it. Just makes this heist look like serious business. And again, gives this movie, that well-polished, sophisticated feel to that there. And then I like the overhead shots showing the crew in their cars and then the airport security in their car. I thought that was very cool. And it's got like a bed of like present but not too intrusive industrial pulsating music underneath. But it just kind of cool. It just got that bird's eye view of all the shipping, containers, and the cars are driving and winding through and whatnot. Kind of looks like Pac-Man a little bit, but there's no ghosts and no dots and all that stuff, that kind of thing there. So it's a cool scene. It's a good start. It's a promising genesis to this movie here. And then the idea to bring in the getaway cars in a cargo container and then use them for the heist, okay, and then evade law enforcement, because law enforcement, it sounded like it was going to be an inevitability that law enforcement was going to be on them like white on rice, because they only had so long, and they had to spray the video cameras or disable the cameras and whatnot. And of course, if you're in the security game and you're monitoring, all these cameras, and one goes out, well, naturally you're going to send somebody to check things out, right? And so that's what happens here. And so they evade the airport security, and then they just drive right back into the same storage container that they originally came out of, with the cars right there. So very, if you just think about it, it's a very basic plan, but very ingenious right there. They're following the KISS principle, right? Keep it simple, stupid. Okay. And as it turns out, though, all that work just ended up getting them on the Italian mafia's shit list, right? Okay, which is one of the plot holes of this movie, because the reason they're, as we find out, the reason that they're on the Italian mafia shit list is because they took one of the diamonds that an Italian mobster owns. And that's one of the plot holes, because it's like, you think that they know what they're stealing and who owns what they're stealing, particularly if it's a diamond, right? Okay. If they're going and they're trying to steal some fancy dishware or something like that, okay, maybe that's not quite as lucrative and valuable, and maybe they're not going to bother worrying about who owns it. But we're talking about high dollar items right there. And sure, some legit businessmen or women could own that, but also some other people that make a shitload of money, like criminals, the mafia, cartels, that kind of thing. They can own that shit too. And next thing you know, you steal the wrong diamond and you got the Medellin cartel or whatever, on your ass there. Or you got, the Cosa Nostra, like in this case right here, on your ass. So I thought it was kind of a plot hole. Like, these guys, okay, maybe these guys aren't as slick as I thought, that they wouldn't have done a little recon and determined or and learned who owns what and that kind of thing. So nothing like having some Italians not named Mario and Luigi, on your ass with guns and an axe to grind. Who wants that? It's like, I know this guy doesn't right here. And welcome, Lindy Rig 87 to the festival here, and he's got pearls here. Lisa is an asshole. We won't let her have you. There you go. I appreciate you looking out for me right there, especially if it's Lisa Simpson right there. Again. Yeah, what a preachy biatch right there. So, but again, welcome Lindy Rig 87. We got Beyond Formal, we got Lindy Rig 87 here, and yeah, hopefully we get some other folks in here in the live chat talking about this movie. Now I know people saw this movie. I know that people saw this movie because it was the #1 movie at the box office this last week. Okay, because it beat out like Wicked and Mufasa and I can't remember what other movies it beat out there. It was a surprise #1 because this is an R-rated movie right there, and typically it's an uphill battle for an R-rated movie to take the #1 spot, particularly like when you got little kiddie movies out there that aren't R-rated, obviously, like Mufasa. What's the other one? The other big kiddie movie that's out right now. But anyway, so they got a bunch of kiddie movies out here, but Den of Thieves 2, Pantera, it took the cake. Right there, and it was there at the #1 spot. It took the gold there. That is how we work there on that. Okay, so real quick here, let me. I should tell you this. Okay, so normally right now, I would do my brew review time segment here, but I'm not doing that here for like the next, probably like next 70 days right there, because I'm doing like this 75 hard regiment here, where one of the things that you do is no alcohol whatsoever for 75 days. Okay, now after that 75 days, I'll start drinking again, but probably not to the quantities that I did before. Okay, but so yeah, no brew review time, for like the next couple of months here on the show and whatnot. But I'll get back to it after that. So just in case, I move on in like a half an hour from now. People are like checking their watch, like, oh, I'm waiting for brew review time. Where's brew review time? Where's it at? What? I don't want you to find yourself in that situation right there. I don't want you to do that there. I don't want you to be all confused. Like say you're like, Joe Biden up on a stage and people have to like show him like where to stand or have to tell him what day it is or, what flavor pudding they're giving them that afternoon. Like, I don't want you to be confused like that there. Okay. So because that's what I'm all about. All right. So there you go. I'm trying to help people out right there. And Ravage Battle. Hey, welcome, Ravage Battle. Welcome to the Battle Royale right here. And it says, did someone say battle? Yes. We are in here. We are movie warriors up in the show right here today. Yeah. So we are getting it done. And welcome here and welcome. And thank you for impressing and or spicing up the proceedings right there. But and we are going to go into we're going to talk about someone that was in battle for reals later on in the movie Military Moment right there. So don't be this guy.
I gotta go take them.
Because you might miss it, okay? So don't be them right there. But since I'm not doing brew review time, hey, that's all good, okay? But I can still let you guys know about our fantastic merch that we have, our fantastic Movies Merica merch. And then we got merch for other Till Death Podcast Network shows there as well. And but one of the Movies Merica merch items you can get is the Movies Merica t-shirt up there at the top left. But you don't have to get it in black. We have it in a number of different colors right there. Okay, so if you are not one of the fighters in battle and you want a pink shirt right there, by all means, I'm sure we can hook you up with a pink Movies Merica shirt. Okay, right there, if that's your flavor. And we're making it very easy for you to get some Movies Merica merch because all you have to do is click on the merch link down in the description. There's a merch link right there. And now one thing I should let you know is when you click on that link and the movies or in the merch webpage comes up, you might have to scroll down a little bit to get to the Movies Merica merch. Okay, just in case. Now, I never know. Something might have changed. It's like right there at the very tippy top, like boom, right in your face, right when you fire up the page. But just in case that is not the case, just scroll down a little bit there and you'll find all the Movies Merica merch, like Movies Merica, keychains and phone cases and yoga pants and shot glasses and anything, right? So pretty much like a lot of things that you might not expect to have the movies Merica logo and all that stuff on there. Okay, so there you go. Now, I don't know, do people give gifts to people for Martin Luther King Jr. Day? Because that's coming up this Monday right there. But hey, maybe you want to give people a gift to celebrate the inauguration of one Donald J. Trump this Monday, okay? Now, if you're today, I can't promise it's going to be there on time for the inauguration day, but it will eventually get there. Okay, there you go. So check that out. And then, as you see, when you're there at the merch website and you're checking out in the cart there, if you put in promo code MOVIES there in the promo code field, you are going to get free shipping. Hell yeah, man. Isn't that sweet? That is so awesome. That is the way to go. Gotta love it there. And
that's the coolest fucking story I've ever heard in my entire life. That's insane. Can I hear it again?
Yes, you can. You're going to get free shipping with the promo code of movies right there. Okay, so you have virtually no excuse because we got the Movies Merica merch link in the description. So all you got to do is go down in the description, click the link, and you don't even have to worry about shipping. All right, so take that, Bezos. I give it about 2 weeks, and we're going to beat your whole operation there, Bezos. Okay, we're going to be bigger than Bezos. Ooh. Sounds like a good name for an album. Bigger than Bezos right there. So there you go. Now, I'm talking about his operation, not something else. Okay, there you go. I'm talking about his company there. So, but yeah, check out the Movies Merica merch there with the merch link down below. Okay, there you go. Don't be slow. Get down there and go. All right. So let's talk about some more Den of Thieves 2 Pantera right there. And you know what? I feel like I should be playing some Pantera, music right there. But of course, I would get dinged for copyright claim. YouTube, well, Rumble wouldn't give a shit, but YouTube, they jump out of bed in the morning, in excitement and anticipation to, get copyright claims. Well, I guess they don't do it, but whoever you're playing or whatever trailer, movie studio, artists, they're the ones who do the copyright claims. But anyway, that's how the sausage is made. You guys don't care about that. But with Den of Thieves 2, I thought the camaraderie between Nick and Donnie, Big Nick and Donnie, I thought it just felt awkward and forced and came from out of nowhere. Okay, let me know if you guys thought that too. Anybody that's seen the movie there. I mean, because I thought that it was just out of place, didn't really work with that. So, and I can't let one more second go by without putting this up there. Yeah, Ravage Battle. Hey, I'm comfortable with my masculinity. I'll wear it. Yeah, exactly. Well, we're glad you're comfortable with it. We're not comfortable with it, but there you go. You go, Ravage Battle. So there you go. I kid because I care there. Absolutely. But yeah, it just didn't feel natural between Big Nick and Donnie. Like, they were not bros in the first movie. And, I just felt like a frog in my throat right there, so I could feel it. So I better take a real quick drink here real quick. And you got to go ahead and take a drink off of whatever you guys are basically got in your hand right there. You got a beer, you got a cocktail, whatever. Me, unfortunately, no beer for me, like as I said right there. So I've got to go with this. And just in case inquiring minds want to know, it's simply like just water with lemon lime Mio in there. It is not piss. Okay, there you go. Just in case anybody was thinking that, which I would not blame you for thinking that because it looks like piss. Oh, right there. But yeah, Donnie and Big Nick, they were not bros in the first movie. Okay, Donnie was somebody that Big Nick, as a LA County sheriff, he was shaking him down. Okay, he was Donnie was his informant. Okay, he was a CI. What do they call him? A CI. In the first movie right there, and so Donnie was like infiltrating this gang, he was already in the gang, but Big Nick basically said, hey, you know what? You don't rat on your gang, on your crew. The first one, hey, we're throwing your ass, in a 6x9 cell, okay, with a roommate named Bubba. Okay, so Donnie was like, yeah, just again, like I said earlier, he was like this some kind of nobody. He was an insignificant character. Okay, so they did a very good job at kind of doing the old switcheroo on there. Okay, kind of doing making him a red herring of sorts. They're like, oh, this Donnie character, he ain't shit, he ain't nothing. All right, and then at the end, turns out like, oh, hey, he's friggin' Kaiser Soze. What the hell? Okay, but so the point of saying all that is, yeah, Big Nick and Donnie, they were not bros. They were not hanging out, clinking beer bottles and all that stuff in the first movie. And Nick Big Nick really did not like how Donnie pretty much hoodwinked him at the end of the first movie right there. I mean, Donnie got over on him big time. And then at the start of this sequel, Big Nick's life has fallen apart even more than it did in the first movie. Because in the first movie, like early in the first movie, you see Big Nick, and they show that his life is in tatters. It's just his marriage, his wife wants to leave his ass, and he's cheating on his wife. So understandably, she wants to leave him. He gets so drunk, he sends a text that he meant to send to a mistress or somebody he was cheating on her with. He accidentally sends it to his wife. Okay, and obviously that lets her know, like, hey, my husband's fucking around. I mean, what the hell, So she wants a divorce. He's got a couple of daughters with her, and he's his divorce is final at the beginning of Den of Thieves 2. He lost the custody battle, so he just gets to see his daughters on their birthday and Christmas. So pretty much he's not a father anymore. Okay, I mean, because that's a tough deal, right? But hey, he did it to himself, right? And also, as if that weren't enough, he's fired from his job. So you thought you were having a bad day. Just think of what Big Nick's life is in this movie. And then, so basically life is just peachy for Big Nick here. And then he also has to live with Donnie getting the best of him here. So then when he does track down Donnie in Nice, France, because that's where most of this movie takes place, is in Nice, France there, Donnie pulls a gun on him as well to add insult to injury. Okay, so that's just another layer on the anguish cake, okay, that Nick is going through right there. And then Big Nick has to snatch the gun away from him, like you saw in the trailer there earlier. And then after all of that shit, okay, that quagmire shit, all of that, then all of a sudden, suddenly, like, Big Nick and Donnie are at a party, and they're kicking back and taking it easy like lifelong bros? Huh? Okay, like, I mean, they're yucking it up, doing shots, smoking, dancing, all this stuff. I mean, they're just broing it out big time, okay? I'm just like, I don't get it there. It's a little weird, it came from out of nowhere, and so they could have done that a little bit better, just going through here and making everyone, making it seem out of place there is what I'm trying to get there.
You are a retard.
Yeah, because apparently I can't talk here tonight. So I thought that they could have done that a little bit better as far as the number of scenes and pacing and all that. Okay, because there's no time between when they're yucking it up doing shots and smoking it up at a party and when they were positioned as bitter enemies. Okay, I mean, it's awkward. It's absolutely hard to believe that they bonded that quick, especially when Gudegast, who's the director, Cristian Gudegast, he has them get kicked out of a party, and they're stumbling and bumbling, drunk off their ass around Nice right there. Okay, so it's just kind of out of place right there. And again, the writer and director of this is, again, Cristian Gudegast. And I think he should have added a few more scenes before they were dapping each other at a party and broing it up, all right? Because, like, maybe throw in, another male bonding, blowing off steam, Benihana scene like in the first movie. Because, there was a scene, in the first movie there back in L.A. where you got the robbery crew. Okay, they're at Benihana, they're at the hibachi grill, and there's chilling, eating some sushi and some hibachi and all that stuff, and then Big Nick's crew is L.A. County Sheriff crew. They're there as well, and Big Nick is basically trying to do some recon of the thieves, right, and that kind of thing. So it's kind of a weird scene at Benihana, but a lot of people that review the first movie, they always bring up the Benihana scene here, and so maybe they could have thrown another scene like that, where in this where Donnie and Big Nick, they're in there. There's like, hey man, did you get fried rice too? Oh, I did. Yeah, it's pretty good, right? Yeah. Hey, did you see that thing where we did the volcano thing? Oh, I did. It was awesome. Yeah, like they're bonding, they're dapping it up, or they're put a scene like that, and a few more scenes for them to kind of like get to know each other better and loosen up and that kind of thing. Melt the ice, so to speak, that kind of thing right there. But they didn't do that, so it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I thought it was a little weird. That all of a sudden, like they're getting along so well here suddenly right there. But just to, kind of give us a little bit more perspective on Den of Thieves 2 right here. I was watching this video while I was doing some research for this episode because I know, believe it or not, I know it's hard to believe. When you check out my flow that. Hey, Van actually does research for these shows? Like, what the hell? Wow, that's amazing. What the hell? Yes. Yeah. I do research. I definitely do research there. So, and I stumbled upon this video, and I thought it was pretty good. So let's check this bad boy out.
He got over on me. No one gets over on me.
Truth be told, I was not the world's biggest fan of the original Den of Thieves. To me, it felt like a pretty lame retread of Heat, which has been done over and over and over again, albeit like all the other imitators without any of Michael Mann's style and substance. But hey, what do I know? I guess the original film was a big enough hit that they decided to do another one, so against all odds, here we are 6 years later with Den of Thieves Pantera, which no, has nothing to do with the heavy metal band. When I walked in, I have to admit I was not expecting all that much, but I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed this slick sequel, which to me had a unique Euro-style vibe that felt fresh in a way its predecessor didn't. So after his life is ruined in the wake of his own reckless behavior, Los Angeles Sheriff's Department cop Nick O'Brien, once again played by Gerard Butler, heads to Antwerp to track down his former foe, Donnie Wilson, played by O'Shea Jackson Jr. However, instead of revenge, Nick wants to cash in and join forces with Donnie in order to rob the World Diamond Center. So this one is set in Belgium, and it revolves around O'Shea Jackson Jr.'s Donnie building a European crew to rip off the Antwerp Diamond Center, which is something that actually happened back in 2003 and influenced writer-director Cristian Gudegast, who returns to the original film. I have to say, Gudegast actually does a good job making this a more grounded heist film than usual, with him avoiding all the over-the-top elements one might expect in the wake of the Fast saga, which, I'll admit, I thought this movie was going to probably rip off after having seen the first trailer, as there's more than a few similarities, notably how Gerard Butler's character figures into the plot. See, in the first movie, Butler's Nick O'Brien was such a comically over-the-top, hyper-macho protagonist that the movie was hard to take seriously at times. He came off as almost cartoonish. Yet in the sequel, they show that his insane behavior actually had some real consequences, with it costing him his job and his family, which felt like a nice touch of realism, with his wife filing for divorce and taking the kids. Thus, the movie now has him throw his lot in with Donnie and his gang, opting to help them pull off their heist for a cut that will set him up for life. Now, Den of Thieves Pantera definitely isn't perfect, with the biggest flaw in the movie being how quickly Jackson's Donnie buys Nick's story and cuts him into the gang. I mean, he's supposed to be this genius-level mastermind, so it's hard to swallow him taking Nick at his word considering how few scruples his former antagonist had in the first film, where he was almost psychopathic. Yet it does give Butler and Jackson the chance to build up some buddy movie chemistry, which, coupled with the European locale, helps make the sequel a lot more fun than the original. In recent years, Butler's excelled making kind of mid-level action films, with his world-weary characters always less glamorous and more believable than other action heroes of note. He's kind of like the anti-Jason Statham. In Gerard Butler movies, you never know if he's going to come out on top in a fight, but hey, you're rooting for him the whole way. He feels like kind of a real guy. Oddly enough, in Den of Thieves Pantera, despite now being a crook, he's more sympathetic than he was in the first film when he was a good guy, technically. Basically, he's a guy who's dealing with the consequences of his choices, and Butler plays him with just the right amount of machismo and humor. By comparison, Jackson has a bit less to work with, but seems to be having a ball in his buddy-buddy scenes with Butler, and is convincing as the brains behind the heist, with him soft-spoken and cerebral compared to the ultra-testosterone-fueled Nick. Well, just like the original Den of Thieves 2 is way too long, with it running close to 2.5 hours, the pacing is tighter thanks mostly to the fact that it's a lot more focused than the original film was. In Den of Thieves, Gudegast, in trying to pay homage to man, spent way too much time on too many uninteresting side characters in order to give them pathos. He doesn't get caught up in that trap here, with Butler and or Jackson rarely off-screen, which benefits the film in a huge way. It all builds up to a climatic heist sequence that's punctuated by a very nifty car chase / shootout that's, I have to say, pretty well executed, even if the movie ends on a note that most action connoisseurs probably already have figured out just based on the trailers alone. All said, I have to admit that I enjoyed Den of Thieves Pantera way more than I thought I would. With the sunny European locales and international flavor, it's the perfect mid-level January release, and should prove popular enough among Butler's fans that I wouldn't be surprised if we actually got a third movie in the series. Butler is very consistent, and he's always worth watching, and hey, I liked him a lot in Den of Thieves too. It's surprisingly fun. I give this one a 7 out of 10, so hey, even if you didn't like the first film, and I really didn't, you might want to give the sequel a try. It's pretty good.
So,
All right, enough of that right there. So, yeah, I thought that was cool. Just another perspective on Den of Thieves 2 Pantera there. So, and apparently that's the kind of the theme that I've heard is a lot of people like it better than the first one. Personally, I like the first one better. Probably at least one reason is because of the novelty of it. It was something new, and I think that I like the characters in the first one as well. Now, I thought that Gerard Butler as Big Nick, I thought he was over the top. It looked like his character was trying too hard. You know, he's basically supposed to be this asshole anti-hero, but he basically just came off as an asshole. Really, there was no charm. He didn't ever say anything funny. You know, I mean, if you're going to be an asshole anti-hero, be funny. Okay, I mean, that's what that should be all about right there. Kind of like not really an anti-hero, but like Jack Nicholson in The Departed, right? As Frank Costello. He was obviously a bad guy, but he was funny, you know, in that movie. So he was kind of one of those guys where you're not necessarily rooting for him, but you're like, man, this guy is intriguing. And Big Nick and Gerard Butler, you know, as Big Nick in the first one wasn't it just didn't hit it. It just basically it went too much asshole and not enough like witty, you know, witty dude or anything like that. So, and the same in Den of Thieves too. He's just pretty much just like cold-blooded asshole in this. And then of course at the end, you know, when it turns out, yeah, he's working undercover the whole time, and you know he did not break bad in this. He wasn't going, you know, from cop to criminal, and it basically he busts him like that. That ending, I thought, it rubbed me the wrong way. Just because I think they showed him bonding with the members of the crew a little too much, particularly with Giovanna there. Remember, she was the spotter, and she seemed like it sounds weird to say this about a member of a heist crew there, but she had that kind of vulnerability to her where she was kind of empathetic, right? They made her empathetic, and then they hinted that Big Nick and her were going to hook up, and she was open to it, and you know there was kind of a romance developing, and then at the end he basically gets her busted. The French cops bust her. She's in a prison, you know, for a very, very long time, and Big Nick is like, sayonara, you know, see ya. And just there's really nothing good, you know, about this character of Big Nick that endears you to him. Okay, he's just like, all right, yeah, we get it. He's like this. His life is a shit show. He's disheveled. His life is a mess. He carries himself, you know, like a big, you know, aimless lug, you know, fire, ready, aim, that kind of guy. But you can only, that only works for so long. After a while, it gets tired and played out, and so just not really, a endearing character. I didn't really give a crap about it whatsoever there. So, and Van's an empath there. Definitely not. I would be the last one to admit to that. So, that's one thing. That's some information I volunteer sometimes is, we'll get on the topics of like doctors and going in the medical field or whatever, or maybe being like a social worker or something like that. And I'm like, I could not do any of those things. I could not be a doctor. I could not work in a medical field. I could not be a social worker because I'm probably the least empathetic person there is. I just don't like people enough. Okay. I mean, I'm not a total narcissist. I'm not some sociopath or anything like that. But I have a very low tolerance for people's bullshit. Okay. So, and I would not be very empathetic. I would not have that attitude like, hey, Van, come on, Van, be more understanding. All right. Humans are complicated and whatnot. And I'd be like, not very complicated to me. They're just people that piss me off all the time. That's not complicated. That's very simple. They're people that piss me off a lot. So, and so I'm not what you call a people person. I'm not an empath. So right there, probably a lot more reaction and commentary to that comment there than Ravage Battle would probably actually wanted right there. And hey, we got I'm Sean Cav joining us here on the show with a hello, my friend, hello. All right, well, it's not Neil Diamond, it's I'm Sean Cav joining us here, but appreciate you checking out the show and staying as long as you possibly can there, or giving us whatever time you got available there and talking about some Den of Thieves 2 right there. And I'm sure it's like, what did I walk into? Yeah, exactly. You don't want to know. You do not want to know there whatsoever. Now, you know what? I think you're going to like this here, though, as far as like something to walk into. And that is where I tell you guys all about a great sponsor for the very show that you are watching right now, One Movies Merica, spoiler warning. And that fantastic sponsor is Flip City Magazine. And so right now, if you are someone that likes to learn more about life, you're an inquisitive person, if you're not already familiar with it, you should be asking yourself, then what is Flip City Magazine? Well, I shall tell you. So remember Mad Magazine and Cracked Magazine? There were funny magazines back in the day. You could flip open up a Mad Magazine and they'd have like a parody of some, whatever the hot movie was, Shaving Ryan's Privates, or whatever, like whatever the movie was. They'd do a parody, and they had Alfred E. Newman, and he was cracking you up, and had all kinds of funny stuff in the Mad Magazine and that kind of thing. So it was very dependable at at making you giggle at least a little bit right there. And unfortunately, when it comes to Mad Magazine and Cracked, this little thing called the election of Donald J. Trump in 2016 broke their brains. And so they made their priority number one, and they made it teaching you how to live a good woke lifestyle, young man. All right. And they wanted to teach you a lesson, if you're if you're a MAGA, if you're a Trump fan, or if you even voted for him, or you just voted for him. And so, humor and funniness in those magazines went the way of the dinosaur. But never fear, because Flip City Magazine is here, and they are going to take on the mantle of cracking you up while you're sitting on your porcelain god, and you want a good joke, to liven up your day with a little humor. Well, Flip City is there for you, all right? But let's have you hear more about Flip City from some people that are a lot more eloquent than me.
I love Flip City. It has brought new types of badassery and integrity to the print medium.
Genuinely cutting, but also funny, and obviously just chaotic and very fun.
All right. So, yes, we're going to make it so easy. So easy. So, if you're hoping that you're going to have an excuse to not subscribe to Flip City, well, you've come to the wrong place. We can't help you out there, pal, because we have got the Flip City link in the description down below. So, yes, it's excuses gone. All right. So, your scapegoat is gone, because all you got to do is get down in the description down below and click on that Flip City link and subscribe to Flip City Magazine. And do yourself a favor right there, because, we've all had bad days, right? Your boss is on your ass. Your old lady's telling you to clean out the garage. She's told you that she screwed your brother. Just a bad day, all right? So, and you need a little comic relief. And so, yeah, get yourself some Flip City via Flip City link or subscription, I should say. And then, as you see down below, put in promo code MOVIES, and you get 10% off your order or 10% off your subscription of the best non-woke comic around right there. Okay, so do yourself a favor. It's good. It's funny. It's hilarious. And you know what? I did myself a favor. I got myself some Flip City magazine, because look at that. See, look what I got at my fingertips right there. Look at that right there. It's just good to have a magazine that you're going to hold in your hand and check out some cool artwork right there, and just, all kinds of stuff. We got like cocktail recipes there, like we have on tdpn.locals.com, and we got the great artwork right there, and just something right there that it's better. It's or at least different. It's homage to yesteryear right there, where you just got a magazine to flip through instead of scrolling down an app on your phone. You just make the old days. You're taking the Browns to the Super Bowl in the bathroom, and you're just flipping through here, and to hear your wife from the other room keep it down in there, and you can't keep it down in there because you're sitting on the porcelain god reading some Flip City right there. There you go. So get that in your hand there. All right, let's move on here with the show, because we've got business to attend to. All right, we don't dilly-dally here at Movies Merica Incorporated, not at all. And we got a little bit more. When I say we, I should say I have a little bit more to say about Den of Thieves, Den of Thieves 2, Pantera. And so I don't need to shit on this movie the entire show, right? Okay, there's some good things to it. Like I said, once it comes out on streaming, by all means, watch it then. I've reviewed some movies that are so bad, The Crow 2024, that I wouldn't even bother watching it when it comes out on streaming. Okay, so but with Den of Thieves 2, Pantera, when it comes out on Netflix or Hulu or whatever, Paramount, whatever, check it out then. That's totally cool. But about the movie, there are some good technical aspects to the movie. Okay, it's a slick looking movie. It doesn't look cheap or anything like that. It's got excellent cinematography, and shooting in an exotic location really does help with that. Okay, with the cinematography, because you're distracted by just the cool locale and geography. And here you've got cool cliffs and winding roads, and the French, the very famous French city of Nice, there, and all that stuff, and so I was really getting some good Roger Deakins vibes from the cinematography. And in case you're not a cinephile, you're not a movie geek, not a movie maniac, or one of my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics, and you don't know who Roger Deakins is. Roger Deakins, He's being like the Kobe Bryant of cinematographers. And they got Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, and you've got Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. Obviously, I know I'm throwing some very old NBA player names out there. So, but he's one of the all-stars in the cinematography game today in movies right there. And now he did not do the cinematography for this movie, but I was definitely getting vibes of old Roger in this movie. Now, the exotic location, like I said before, is supposed to be Nice, France, but actually they didn't shoot in Nice. They actually shot in the Canary Islands, and then they changed some signage around to make it, to put up some French, words and that kind of thing to make it look like Nice, France. Okay. Now, one thing that was not good in this movie, it wasn't particularly offensive, but the soundtrack by Kevin Matley is forgettable. Okay, it was kind of just a cookie cutter, very easily ignorable. It's easily ignorable background music. Okay, it's music you can listen to while you're doing your dishes or flossing your cat or alphabetizing, your CDs or arranging your socks drawer. Very, very forgettable. Okay, nothing extraordinary about the soundtrack to this movie. I mean, even the soundtrack from the first movie, the first Den of Thieves movie, by normally solid Cliff Martinez. And if Cliff Martinez's name sounds familiar, one reason it might sound familiar is because he was briefly with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Okay, and then he made a whole career of being this movie composer. But Cliff Martinez, who did the first Den of Thieves, even that soundtrack was like just atmospheric mediocrity. Now, Cliff Martinez has done a much better job in soundtracks for movies like Traffic. Remember Traffic with Michael Douglas, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Benicio del Toro won an Academy Award for Traffic. Okay, it was directed by Steven Soderbergh. Cliff Martinez also did the soundtrack for The Foreigner. That was the Jackie Chan, Pierce Brosnan movie from a few years ago. Did the soundtrack for the awesome, you either love it or you hate it movie Drive with Ryan Gosling. Did the soundtrack for another Steven Soderbergh movie, Contagion, and then the Spring Breakers movie where James Franco, had cornrows and his teeth were all like blinged out and shit. So, and the soundtracks to all those movies, those soundtracks were fantastic. Those ones were good. The one for the first Den of Thieves was yawn-inducing. That is for sure. So, yeah. So if you heard that soundtrack, you walked into that, you'd be like, I'm Sean Cav said a little earlier, like, what did I walk into with this soundtrack? What? This soundtrack is dog shit. Okay, so you wouldn't think anything of that soundtrack whatsoever. All right, so let's move it right on along here because, again, we've got things to attend to here in the show. And, you guys got things to do, right? I mean, we got a Trump inauguration to look forward to this Monday here. But, we've got the weekend here. And, but before the weekend, we've got Thirsty Thursday, which is what it is right now. And so that's why I'm thirsty, and I'm going to take a drink off this bad boy. Oh, yeah. But the point of that is it's almost the weekend, all right? So this show is an opportunity for you to kick back and relax before all the stuff over the weekend we have to look forward to. That's for sure right there. But one segment that I really look forward to in every episode of Movies Merica, spoiler warning. Matter of fact, it's my favorite segment of every episode is the movie military moment. And without further ado, let's make that happen. All right, fellow Americans, fellow patriots, and anyone else watching from around the globe, the movie military moment is basically just my opportunity I give to myself to pay tribute to members of the military that were awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. Okay, because I was in the military. I'm ex-mil. I consider myself very patriotic. I love America, warts and all. And I just couldn't do a show without incorporating some kind of tribute to the military and then trying to be slick and tie it into movies somehow. You tell me if I pulled it off. I don't know. Okay, but I don't think you ever really need an excuse to pay tribute to our military for whatever reason. You just do it, right? But I chose to tie it to movies, and it turned out to be easier than I thought because the connection between a military moment and a movie is, as you would imagine, if you are a recipient of the Congressional Medal of Honor, well, you didn't do it just for eating the most sloppy joes at the base cafeteria, or being the best letter sorter at the base post office or anything like that. No, that's boring shit. Okay, you got it for doing something that would be amazing to see. Okay, so maybe you are you're on Guadalcanal in World War II. Okay, and you got a whole line of Japs over here, and they're greatly outnumbering you. Okay, your numbers are small compared to theirs, and you've run out of ammo, and all your buddies are over there on your flank, and you see them. They're about to get swarmed. They're about to get overwhelmed by this big squad of Japs, right? And you're like, I see them. I see those Japs, but they don't. And I don't want my buddies to get killed. So the only thing you have left is you just got a grenade. So you pull a pin on that sucker, you run towards the Japs, and you take them out and yourself as well. And, which is, obviously more than worthy to be awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor for that. Or maybe you're a helicopter pilot in Vietnam, and you got a hot LZ, the VC, they got RPGs and they're shooting all over the place, and it's just too hot in LZ. LZ stands for landing zone. To land a chopper in there, you're Huey. It's taking rounds and whatnot. You even got your captain on the squawk box. Go, get your ass in that chopper back here, all right? All right, if you crash that chopper, it's on your ass. I'm taking it out of your paycheck there, Sergeant, whatever. But instead of, you ignore them, like, no, Captain, all right, I got to get down there. We got to get supplies. We got to get the wounded out, and you're just taking fire, and you're just endangering your life and whatnot to save the lives of others. So that would be something where, again, if you saw it on a big movie screen and right in front of you, it would be a very amazing movie military moment, okay? And that is the connection right there, okay? And so the honoree for this segment or this episode of the movie military moment is one Lieutenant Colonel Don Carlos Faith Jr., who fought in the Korean War. And so I believe Lieutenant Colonel Faith Jr. does deserve some sweet music, okay, as we talk about him and we learn more about what he did to become a recipient of the Congressional Medal of Honor. It'd be kind of boring if it was just me talking right there. We should have some cool background music for the Lieutenant Colonel, don't you think? I think so. I think he's earned it right there. So, without further ado, let's get it on. This is the movie military moment. And in this movie military moment, we will pay tribute to one Lieutenant Colonel Don Carlos Faith Jr., who fought for you and for me in the Korean War. And let's find out more about what Lieutenant Colonel Faith did to become a recipient of the Congressional Medal of Honor. Lieutenant Colonel Faith, commanding 1st Battalion, distinguished himself conspicuously by gallantry and intrepidity in action above and beyond the call of duty in the area of the chosen reservoir. When the enemy launched a fanatical attack against his battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Faith unhesitatingly exposed himself to heavy enemy fire as he moved about directing the action. When the enemy penetrated the positions, Lieutenant Colonel Faith personally led counterattacks to restore the position. During an attack by his battalion to effect a junction with another U.S. unit, Lieutenant Colonel Faith reconnoitered the Route 4 and personally directed the first elements of his command across the ice-covered reservoir and then directed the movement of his vehicles, which were loaded with wounded, until all his command had passed through the enemy fire. Having completed this, he crossed a reservoir himself. Assuming command of the force his unit had joined, he was given the mission of attacking to join friendly elements to the south. Lieutenant Colonel Faith, although physically exhausted in the bitter cold, organized and launched an attack, which was soon stopped by enemy fire. He ran forward under enemy small arms and automatic weapons fire, got his men on their feet, and personally led the fire attack as it blasted its way through the enemy ring. As they came to a hairpin curve, enemy fire from a roadblock again pinned the column down. Lieutenant Colonel Faith organized a group of men and directed their attack on the enemy positions on the right flank. He then placed himself at the head of another group of men and, in the face of direct enemy fire, led an attack on the enemy roadblock, firing his pistol and throwing grenades. When he had reached a position approximately 30 yards from the roadblock, he was mortally wounded, but continued to direct the attack until the roadblock was overrun. Throughout the 5 days of action, Lieutenant Colonel Faith gave no thought to his safety and did not spare himself. His presence each time in a position of greatest danger was an inspiration to his men. Also, the damage he personally inflicted, firing from his position at the head of his men, was of material assistance on several occasions. Lieutenant Colonel Faith's outstanding gallantry and noble self-sacrifice above and beyond the call of duty reflect the highest honor on him and are in keeping with the highest traditions of the U.S. Army. And we salute you, Lieutenant Colonel Faith, for what you did for our country in the Korean War. And with that, that has been the movie Military Moment. All right. So, and as I always say, you don't have to wait for me to do a movie military moment for you to hear about these brave warriors that won the CMH, or Congressional Medal of Honor. You can go to cmohs.org/recipients, and you can read all about these guys there and read their citations, just like I read the citation there for Lieutenant Colonel Faith, and check that out right there, okay? And so, as you can tell, I mean, that is why I love this segment, and that's why it's my favorite segment of every Movies America spoiler warning episode. So with that, let's wrap up this movie Military Moment. All right, and look what we've got over here. We've got Sean Cav with a $5 Rumble rant here for yours truly here. I appreciate that, my man. It says, gotta roll out, bedtime to kids. Have a great stream, buddy. Well, I appreciate that, buddy. And yes, and make sure you check out Sean Cav. He's got, a lot of you guys probably already know, but in case you don't know, he is one part of the Whiskey Capitalist podcast show that you guys can check out on at least on Rumble on Monday and Wednesday nights, okay, and then every other Tuesday night right there. And so, yeah, if you look up like the Whiskey Capitalist podcast on Twitter or Rumble, and I'm sure you'll be able to find that, find the links to those shows, like shows coming up and all the past shows, and check out Sean on there. But I appreciate that. And so, well, it's not booze, but it's a beverage. So I'll drink to that Rumble rant of $5. Appreciate it there, buddy. Oh yeah, love those Rumble rants. Gotta love them right there. And you know what? Him giving me a Rumble rant, it's a perfect reminder for me to let you guys know that, yes, you can throw a little money my way if you so desire, if it occurs to you to do that. If you're appreciating what I'm doing enough to do that. If not, hey, totally cool. I understand. Okay, there's shows I like, but I just don't have the money, or I don't like the show that much, okay, to part with some cash for it there. But if you do want to throw a little money my way, by all means, and you can do that via a Rumble rant, like I've mentioned, through Rumble. And the way you do that in Rumble is down by where you type in your live chat message. Just got to click on the button with the $sign on it. It'll just ask you how much you want to donate my way, and that's it. Very simple. Now, if you're watching me on YouTube or the Tube of Views, you can give me what's called a super chat. And the way you do that is down by where you type in your live chat message. Just click on the button that has a dollar bill on it. It'll ask you how much you want to donate. And that's it. All right. Very simple. All right. Even easy enough for a Van Ebert to figure out. All right. Anyway, so I think I've just insulted myself. All right. So, but again, if I just appreciate you guys just watching. Okay, watching the show either live or watching the recording of it. And in case you're watching the recording of it, you're not watching the live show. How you doing? Hey, thanks a lot for watching right there. And I hope you guys keep watching the episodes right there. And just to let you know, I got a whole boatload of past episodes of Movies America, spoiler warning, and Movies America Live, which is my other show I do on Sundays. And you're bound to find at least one that is going over a movie that you're thinking about watching, okay? Maybe you're scrolling through the movie catalog on Hulu or Paramount Plus or Netflix or whatever, and you're like, I don't know if I should watch that movie, man. I don't know. Should I watch that? Should I watch that Crow movie from 2024? I don't know. Hey, I know Movies America. He does, spoiler-free reviews for movies, and so you just check out my Movies America page on Rumble or Twitter. You check out my @MoviesAmerica page on Twitter, on X, and click on a link and see all my past episodes. If there's a movie where you're like kind of mulling it over, like, God, do I want to do I want to really invest some time in this movie? I don't know. Hey, why go in blind when I could just fire up a Movies America episode and find out whether this movie is dog shit or it's a diamond in the rough, or it's worth my time if it's or if it's a masterpiece, whatever. Okay, so now if you take the plunge without watching my spoiler-free reviews and the movie turns out to be dog shit and you just wasted 2 hours of your life, well, that's on you, pal, because you could have watched one of my episodes and what do they say? Forewarned is forearmed right there. But if you don't watch my episodes, I can't help you out, pal. I can't help you out there. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do here is I teased it earlier, and that is my top 5 Gerard Butler movies, or Jerry, as his friends call him. They don't call him Gerard, they call him Jerry. They're in real life. But let's get right into it right here. And again, you can let me know, as I'm going through it, or at the end, let me know, like, my God, Van, what are you thinking? You put that movie on the top 5 Gerard Butler movie? You're clearly missing this other movie that you should. Or you can let me know, like, my God, Van, I knew you were an intelligent man, but I had no idea you were a genius. My God, man, please. All right, so you might have that reaction, and if you do, please let me know, because I love the ego boost. Love it. Okay, so let's get into the top 5 Gerard Butler movies. And we're going to start with number 5. We're going to go down to number 1. And number 5 this would be Olympus Has Fallen right here. Okay, so this is the first of the Has Fallen movies there. Okay, we had Olympus Has Fallen, now London Has Fallen, and Angel Has Fallen. All right, a lot of fallen going on here. So no, not the Denzel Washington movie. All right, this is a whole totally different movie right here. And so this is the one where the White House gets attacked. Okay, so Die Hard in the White House, basically. Okay, is what this is. And Gerard Butler, this is the first movie we see him as Mike Banning, and he's part of the Secret Service, and he's on protection detail. He's protecting the president, played by Aaron Eckhart. Okay, you guys probably know Aaron Eckhart better as Harvey Dent from The Dark Knight. Okay, that's Aaron Eckhart, if you're wondering who that is. And so you get like an attack from a foreign power on the White House, and they've got some foreign dignitaries that they're hosting at the White House. They get them down in the bunker, like Trump had to get down to the bunker when all those crazy Antifa BLM losers were attacking the White House back in 2020. Remember that? And it got so bad. They're like, the Secret Service was like, holy shit, man. These batshit, dumbass, woke jokes are about to breach the friggin' fence over here. We got to get President Trump down in the bunker, So they get in the bunker, in that bunker, in Olympus Has Fallen. And then Mike Manning is kind of like, he's like the John McClane in this movie, where he's like their one last hope there. Now in this Mike Manning, he actually has shoes and socks on. He's not barefoot the whole movie like John McClane. He doesn't have to walk across glass or anything like that. Okay, but Gerard Butler, he brings some good humanism to Mike Manning. You're really rooting for the guy. He's just this blue collar, down to earth, lunch pail kind of dude. And the movie starts out with tragedy, and he's in a bad spot, and Mike Manning's in a bad spot, and he's definitely not everyone's not in everyone's good graces and whatnot. But so he needs something to redeem himself here, which he doesn't really need to redeem himself. If you watch the movie, you're like, what happened wasn't his fault, okay? But something tragic happens, and a lot of people are kind of looking at him, or he's kind of the fall guy. But hey, what better to help redeem you in the eyes of the public and your naysayers than, hey, helping the president out and keeping him alive, and ending baddie lives, in the White House, and terrorists, and taking terrorists out and that kind of shit. And this is a good action movie. It's an R-rated movie, so you get some good hardcore, brutal action in here. Now, the CGI in this movie is shit. Okay, this movie did not have a big budget, so they get ambitious with the action set pieces in here, but they really should have waited till they had a bigger budget to get some better CGI for the big action set pieces that they have, because there's some god-awful CGI in this movie, but it's very brief, okay? And most of the action is just good old down and dirty, brutal, bloody, hand-to-hand, close quarters combat with Mike Manning having to try to save the president. And in this picture right here, that is the president's son, and it just gives you a chance to see, like, what a good dude Mike Manning is. All right, he's being like a surrogate dad to the president's son. He's trying to get him out of the White House alive. He's precious cargo, and it's that kind of thing. So Gerard Butler is a very, very compelling. He's just an all-around good dude in Olympus Has Fallen. So that's my number 5 movie here in the top 5 Gerard Butler movies right there. All right, so without further ado, let's move on to numero quattro, and that would be Cop Shop right here. Yes, this is a little known Gerard Butler movie, unfortunately. Okay, this didn't get a whole lot of play. I think it was in theaters for about 7 seconds. Okay, and you know what? I can't even pat myself on the back. I can't even give myself any kudos on this, because I did not see this in the theaters. Again, to my credit, my excuses, it literally was in theaters for about 7 minutes. Okay, there. So, and it was a very limited release here. But I believe this was directed by the same guy who brought us the movie Narc. And what was that movie with all the assassins? Had Ryan Reynolds and Andy Garcia. Was it Flying Aces? Smoking Aces. Smoking Aces. Same guy did that. Same guy did the A-Team movie with Bradley Cooper and Liam Neeson. Okay. And I'm saying that guy because his name is escaping me right now. But Cop Shop is great. It's like this kind of manic energy action thriller, but with some good comedy in it. Okay. And it's got Gerard Butler. He plays a hitman in it. And then Frank Grillo. Frank Grillo, you probably know him. What was his character? He was in Captain America, the Winter Soldier. There, he's like kind of the main bad guy in that one. What was this? That Jigsaw. Anyway, I can't remember what his bad guy name was, but Frank Grillo. Just look up Frank Grillo on IMDb, and you'll be like, oh, that guy. Okay, I know who Frank Grillo is. But Frank Grillo, he plays like this member of the mob, and he knows all kinds of hitmen are after him. So he gets himself arrested just so he can get himself in police protective custody. Okay, and he gets arrested by kind of this podunk police department there in the middle of nowhere. And so then all these hitmen, they all have a contract out for Frank Grillo's character, and Gerard Butler is a guy who gets himself arrested on purpose so that he can get close to Frank Grillo to take him out. And then we have like this one cop. She is the good guy or good girl in this case in this, and she's trying to just keep order because you've got Frank Grillo. He's this mafioso guy that all these people want dead, that the mafia wants dead. You got Gerard Butler and other hitmen that are trying to get to Frank Grillo, and she finds herself in the middle of this murderous, bloody shitstorm. And not just her, but her fellow officers there at the precinct. And it's kind of like, like Assault on Precinct 13. It's kind of that kind of vibe, the old John Carpenter movie. And then they did a remake years later with Ethan Hawke and Lawrence Fishburne. It's kind of that vibe. But this movie is good. Gerard Butler, as you see in this movie right here, he's just got this manic, psychotic energy to him there. And he's not what he seems. You learn through the movie that each character isn't what the movie is trying to impress upon you, at the beginning. There's some good character arcs, some intriguing character arcs and that kind of thing. And really good action, fantastic action in this there. And you get, it's kind of one of those movies where the hitmen are very quippy. They're funny as they're showing how brutal they are and that kind of thing. There's a hitman in particular that shows up. He's like wearing this blue, like what is it? Like not a London fog jacket, but a members only jacket. Okay, this guy dresses like shit, right? But he's a hitman, and so he's trying to look all unassuming, and he's a live wire. He's funny as he's killing people. Okay, so there you go. It's kind of that kind of movie. But yeah, it's got some good bloody action in it. It's got some good plot twists to it. The heroine in this movie, she's compelling as well. The name of the director it's killing me. It's not Matthew Vaughn. Who's that? Yeah, it's Smoking Aces, Narc. Joe Carnahan. It's a Joe Carnahan movie. Who directed this movie there? So, but and it's Gerard Butler playing against type, because typically he plays like good dudes, right? Like in Olympus Has Fallen, like we're just talking about there, or Angel Has Fallen, or 300, or other movies, that he's typically, and he's a good dude. All right, he's the good guy. Greenland and other movies like that. Okay, so but in this one, he's something else. He's something else, but it's very good. And he basically he handles himself. He's a hitman, like I said there, and it's just kind of cool. It's funny to see Gerard Butler and Frank Grillo play off each other, and it's like a good ensemble cast to this movie, Cop Shop. This is a movie that, yes, I should have saw it in the theater. Everyone else should have saw it in the theater, but it just didn't get marketed very much there, because it was it's not a low budget movie. It's not the lowest budget movie, but you could tell, this is not an epic, big budget prestige movie, like Oppenheimer, or something like that, right? Or Tenet, or I keep naming off Nolan movies, Dune Part 2, stuff like it's not a big epic movie like that. But check it out, Cop Shop there. It's worth your time, very entertaining. And I believe that takes us to numero trace. And this would be Angel Has Fallen. Okay, so this is our second in the Fallen cinematic universe in my Gerard Butler top 5 list here. And this is the latest Fallen movie. I don't know if they're going to do any more here. Fallen movies they've been profitable because they're not the most expensive movies out there, and they do decent at the box office. I don't know how many times you could recycle the whole Fallen formula there, because the first one was the White House getting invaded. The second one was London, a big action shitstorm going on in London. This third one is the president being attacked, and you got Mike Banning here again. He's framed for the assassination attempt, and so this is So when they say Angel has fallen, Angel is the call sign for Mike Banning here as a Secret Service agent. Angel has fallen. And so, yeah, he's framed for an assassination attempt on the president. And I'm not giving anything away. The trailers spell that out big time. All right. So I am not spoiling that movie for you. And there's so much more to the movie that me telling you that it's nothing. It's not a big deal whatsoever. And you get Morgan Freeman in this. He's the president. Aaron Eckhart apparently got maybe term limited out there, and so Aaron Eckhart is not the president. Morgan Freeman is, and you get some familiar faces in this movie. You get Nick Nolte, you get Jada Pinkett Smith. Before Will Smith slapped Chris Rock for. You get the late great Lance Reddick in this movie. As he's a member of the Secret Service, and Lance Reddick, you guys might know him better. He is the concierge at the Continental Hotel in the John Wick movies. Okay, that's Lance Reddick. And who else is? Oh yeah, Morgan Freeman. We got Danny Houston in this movie. Typically, he plays bad guys in movies. Danny Houston. You would know him. He was like one of the bad guys in the first season of Yellowstone. He was like the fellow billionaire that Kevin Costner was going up against in the first season of Yellowstone. That's Danny Houston there. But then we get Maria Bello, plays Mike Banning's wife in this. But this is, it's got some good high-tech action sequences in here. There's a drone sequence in here with bombings and that kind of thing. That's very, very cool. It's very action-packed there. I thought that was an action sequence where I'm sure it was fun when the writer, the screenplay, the screenwriter or screenwriters of this movie were kind of sitting around trying to think up good action set piece ideas. And I'm sure when they thought of that, they're like, "Oh my God, that's awesome! Wow, that's an awesome idea that I thought of! Wow, what a great idea!" And when they bring it to the screen with the drones and the assassination attempt, it looks really fucking cool. Okay, it just gives you that feeling of hopelessness when you're the Secret Service agents and whatnot, because the way the assassination attempt goes down, if you're anywhere in the vicinity, your ass is grass. There is no escape. Okay, and then you have like other great set pieces here as Mike Banning is running away from the authorities because again he's been framed for the assassination attempt on the president, and then he eventually realizes the only person he can trust is his father, played by Nick Nolte, and then they got to take out bad guys and that kind of thing. And it's quite honest, as I'm describing it, it actually makes me want to watch the movie, after I'm done with the episode here. But again, and it's not Sense and Sensibility, okay? It's not it's not a highly intelligent movie. It's not Steve Jobs. It's a good turn off your brain, big dumb action flick there. It strains credibility, but it's just a good turn off your brain movie that will entertain you for a couple of hours. Okay. So Gerard Butler again brings it as Mike Banning in here. He's an everyman. You're rooting for him to win the day, to get home. All right. So like they say in Training Day, do you want to go to jail or do you want to go home? All right. He wants to go home. He doesn't want to go to jail. Okay. And he does a very good job at making you root for the good guy in this. Okay. And with that here, let me take a drink off of this right here because I'm getting a little hoarse over here. So here we go. And again, drink up, everybody. All right. We're making good headway, making good time here. All right. We're going to be there in no time flat. So, numero dos, we've got Gerard Butler as another bad guy character in Law Abiding Citizen here. Now, this is the first time I think I ever saw Gerard Butler as a bad guy in anything, and he just killed it. Well, literally, he killed it. Killed a lot of people in this movie right here. And I'm just fascinated with the plot of this movie. And I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but after you watch this movie, tell me in the comments here if you didn't find the plot intriguing, because you've got this good guy. He starts off as a good guy, and then it just goes from there. I can't really even say anything more than that there, but as far as like what turns him into a guy of questionable moral character, but yeah, he plays a guy that I'm not even gonna, there you go. This is like walking on eggshells with this, because this is a movie and this is a plot to the movie that I really don't want to ruin it for you, because it'll take away the goodness of this movie if I say anything more. But Gerard Butler, I'll just say this, he's very maniacally charismatic in this movie. And if the first movie you ever saw with Gerard Butler was like 300, and then this was the next movie that you saw of him, and it would make this movie even more intriguing. Okay. And then it helps that he's paired up against the very wooden Jamie Foxx in this movie, because Jamie Foxx in Law Abiding Citizen, my God, I've seen saltine crackers have more excitement and charisma in a movie. I mean, Jamie Foxx is kind of walking through the motions, or going through the motions. He's sleepwalking in this movie. He's very much the straight man to Gerard Butler's character in this. I think Gerard Butler's character's name is like Clyde in this movie or something like that. And so Clyde basically, Gerard Butler as Clyde, chews up the scenery in every scene in this movie right there. And maybe him and Jamie Foxx had a deal like, hey, Jamie, just sit there and pretty much like just phone this movie in, all right? Just be the most boring character in this movie to enhance my performance, okay? And, maybe Gerard Butler went out and bought Jamie Foxx a nice juicy steak dinner or something like that, or, kick back some of his salary from this movie over to Jamie Foxx or something. I don't know. But Jamie Foxx does a intentional good job at just being like a piece of furniture in every scene, compared to Gerard Butler's maniacal and charismatic and magnetic energy in Law Abiding Citizen. But this comes to us. He's directed by F. Gary Gray, who also directed like Set It Off, and what else did he direct? Oh, he directed Friday, with Ice Cube, and I can't remember who the other guy is. It must be getting late in the day there. I can't remember who the other guy was in that. So, but yeah, so he's directed some pretty good movies. Oh, he also directed The Italian Job, the Mark Wahlberg, Charlize Theron, Jason Statham Italian Job. So same guy directed The Italian Job, directed Law Abiding Citizen here. And this movie's got some other great character actors in it. It's got Bruce McGill in it. It's got Leslie Bibb. Who else has it got in this up in here? Trying to think who plays Jamie Foxx's wife. Anyway, not important. But yeah, it's got some recognizable faces in this. Bruce McGill, I will always remember him from the movie The Insider, from Michael Mann. The Insider was the Russell Crowe, Al Pacino movie where Russell Crowe plays like the whistleblower on the tobacco industry, and Bruce McGill plays a lawyer as part of a team kind of helping Russell Crowe out. And so if you ever see The Insider, check out Bruce McGill's scene where he is in court and he is just doing his job as a lawyer, right? I think he's deposing Russell Crowe's character there, and it's just a great classic scene there. Just unforgettable scene with Bruce McGill in there. But I digress right there. But just because, I don't want to be the bad guy here and reveal too much about Law Abiding Citizen, we are just going to kind of move on. There we go. And we're going to slide on into numero uno in the top 5 Gerard Butler movie list here. And that would be, of course. Did you have any doubts? Did you have any doubt? I mean, I've gone over 4 movies already, and there was no sign of 300 there. So everybody had to know 300 was going to be the numero uno Gerard Butler movie on my list. Okay. This is the movie that made Gerard Butler a household name. Okay. Your grandma knew who Gerard Butler, well, maybe he wasn't that famous after this movie, but it's the movie that got his agent's phone blowing up. All right. So he'd been in movies before this. All right. He was in Reign of Fire with Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey. He was in that movie Timeline with Paul Walker, and he was in Phantom of the Opera. He was even what was it? What was that? He was in Tomorrow Never Dies, the James Bond movie with a very bit part. He had been in movies, right? But he was like just this supporting player. Okay, but 300 made him the main man, dude. He made him the main dude. Made him a force to reckon with as far as leading men in movies right there. And he earned it with 300 playing King Leonidas, the king of Sparta here. And man, this movie, I mean, because I'd seen Gerard Butler in movies before this, in the aforementioned movies I was talking about, but I didn't really think much of him. He was like, he's just some dude there in these other movies. But then when I saw him in 300 as King Leonidas and the very charismatic performance that he gave, I was like, holy shit, where the hell was this from Gerard Butler before, And I'm sure he read the script here, and I haven't done the research on the history of 300 and maybe what actors they offered this role to that maybe turned it down. I know Gerard Butler was the first guy they went to. I highly doubt it. Okay, but once it got to him, once the script got to him, I would imagine Gerard Butler was like, oh my God, thank you, good Lord, for giving me this screenplay. This is my ticket. This is my shot. Okay, all right. So, like Eminem, if you got one shot, one opportunity, what are you gonna do with it? And so I'm sure Gerard Butler saw this script like, yes, hallelujah, manna from heaven, baby. And so he knew it was incumbent upon him to make the most of the screenplay, and boy, howdy did he. Okay, he's just an absolute badass in this movie here as King Leonidas. And of course, I like the style of this movie. Zack Snyder directed this here. And again, this is the movie that really put Zack Snyder on the map, too. He had directed Dawn of the Dead before this, which is a great movie as well. But 300 is the movie that became a cultural phenomenon that, of course, got Zack Snyder his chance to, direct, other movies. I think his next movie after this was Watchmen. Then, of course, he did Man of Steel. And I think before Man of Steel, he'd done the awful, what was that crappy movie that he did with all the chicks, and it would turn out to be a dream and all that stuff. But anyway, Watchmen was good. Did Man of Steel, which was I've never been a Man of Steel fan, but all that. But the point of that is Zack Snyder did a great job with 300. Okay, because 300 is one of those movies where no matter what I'm doing, okay, if 300 pops on the TV when I'm flipping through channels and shit, sorry, whatever it was I was doing, hit the brakes. We're pausing that shit because I want to watch 300. I don't care if we're in the third act of 300. All right, I'm sitting down whatever I'm doing, and I'm watching some Spartans kick some Persian ass in 300 right here. And so I like how his character is like his character is a take no shit badass dude in this, but he plays that up against his role as as a husband to his queen and a father to a son, and he just does a bang up job at showing you he loves his queen, played by Lena Headey or Headey, who you guys would later on know as Cersei on Game of Thrones. But before she played Queen Cersei, she was in in 300 as the Queen of Sparta. Okay, and so he does a great job at showing, he loves his wife. He loves his wife, the Queen, and they have this loving relationship. And he loves his son, and he wants his son to be a mighty Spartan warrior like he is. And he would do, and King Leonidas, Gerard Butler's character, King Leonidas, would do anything to protect his queen and his son, the prince, and all the peoples of Sparta. And so by the time that we get some emissaries from Xerxes, the king of Persia, showing up at his door, and they're disrespecting the queen, and they're setting ultimatums and flexing when they definitely should not be flexing in Sparta. And when that all goes down, and that leads to this is Sparta, in that scene, he kicks him down the friggin' the hole of death, I guess is what we'll call it. By that time, Gerard Butler's character as King Leonidas is not screwing around right here, okay? And it just makes you love this guy even more. And you love the cast of characters, the supporting cast of characters in this. You get Michael Fassbender is in this before, most people knew who Michael Fassbender was. This is before he played Magneto in X-Men, and, before he played, Steve Jobs, and, what else is he? What's the other big movies he's been in? But he's been in, anyway, he was in Prometheus and Alien, whatever the other Alien movies. Michael Fassbender's been in a shitload of movies, right? There, but when he was in 300, really nobody knew who Michael Fassbender was in this. I'd seen him in a movie called Centurion before this movie. Check out Centurion, great Michael Fassbender movie there. Also he was in Band of Brothers. Okay, I had a bit part in Band of Brothers. Michael Fassbender was in that. But so yeah, Michael Fassbender was a great supporting character in this. Who's the guy? Not David Thewlis. I always get the other guy. I'm looking this up. I'm cheating, everybody. I'm cheating. I'm cheating over here. I'm cheating, everybody. I want to see who this actor was that I cannot think of because I'm having a big brain fart here. And what is that? David Wenham. Yeah, David Wenham plays another great character in here. Dominic West plays a real piece of shit in this. He's a good supporting character. Dominic West was like the lead cop in the TV series The Wire. So the TV series that all white people say that they watch because they want to prove how down they are with the black community. So all the white people that want to prove they're down, they all say, "Oh, I love The Wire. I love The Wire." Like, I like The Wire. I don't love it. So there you go. So I guess that makes me basically a big old racist, I guess. But anyway, but I digest. But 300, yeah, it's about King Leonidas, the king of the Spartans, and you get the Persians rolling up in the neighborhood, and they want King Leonidas to submit, to Xerxes as his ruler, because Xerxes is trying to be Genghis Khan or Alexander the Great or the Romans, and create this big old dynasty and that kind of thing. And King Leonidas is not having it whatsoever. But I love 300 because I just love the stylized look of it. It's very stylized. I mean, it's not trying to be like this gritty, down to earth, historical epic or anything like that. If you thought that Troy, the Brad Pitt movie, was stylized, it had nothing on 300. 300 is like just some kind of a video game or something like that. And 300, of course, it's based on a Frank Miller graphic novel there. But 300, yeah, just a very stylized, very bloody, presentation to the movie. It's got a great soundtrack to it as well, and it's like and I love how it's just got this like the graphic novel it's based on. It's just got this very kind of very warped and crazy and strange. It's got warped and strange and crazy dynamics to it and characters, and it's just out there. Okay, and it's a fantastic movie, and I mean that's why it's my favorite. Gerard Butler movie, because it's the movie that he put in the biggest A-plus performance of his career in that. So 300, hands down, was got to be the number one movie in my list right there. Woo, hate when that happens. All right, there you go. Hazards of live streaming right there. So, all right, but yeah. So let me know what you guys think about my top 5 Gerard Butler. Yeah, Gerard Butler. I almost forgot his name there for a second. What the hell? Must be getting late there again. Yeah, my brain is slowly getting more and more dead as the day goes along. But yeah, let me know what you think of the list. You know, let me know if you hated it, loved it, somewhere in the middle. You know, let me know in the live chat, or if you're watching this later on, yeah, let me know in the comments. And if you have a different list, I'd love to see your top 5 list of Gerard Butler movies right there. And I know a lot of people think, oh, man, the host is just paying lip service. He doesn't really care about my comments. I do, okay, because you know, I want to see what everybody else thinks right there. I'm not all about myself. I'm not that narcissistic. Because you might let me know of a movie from Gerard Butler that I need to see and I have not seen yet. Okay, and so I'm always on a quest for movie knowledge. That is for sure. All right, so all right, everybody, we're coming to the end, my friend, here of this episode right there. But just want to let you know the movie for next week that I'll be doing a spoiler-free review for on Sunday, and then I'll be working Movies Merica spoiler warning show about a week from tonight, all about. The movie for next week is going to be Wolfman. Yes, the latest movie from Leigh Whannell, who did the movie The Invisible Man a few years ago, and he did Upgrade a little bit before that. Leigh Whannell, great movie director there, but he's coming out finally with his latest movie, because it's been a few years since Leigh Whannell came out with a movie, but he's coming out with the movie Wolfman. All right, and that's coming out tomorrow. And so yeah, let me definitely check out my show on Sunday. Again, that's a spoiler-free review show, and that'll be on Sunday at 4 Eastern, 3 Central, 2 Mountain, and 1 Pacific. This Sunday, my spoiler-free review show of Wolfman. And then a week from tonight, Movies Merica spoiler warning, we will be howling at the moon, all about Wolfman there. And well, I was going to say go see Wolfman, but you don't know if I think you should see Wolfman until my spoiler-free review this Sunday there, okay? But so yeah, check out the show this Sunday afternoon to see whether or not you should see Wolfman. All right, so we're going to do that there. And check out, see if I'm missing out on any chats or anything like that. Nope, I am not. So yeah, let's wrap up this bad boy here by me letting you know of some websites that you should go and check out and save as a favorite or a bookmark right there. You're gonna want to save these as a favorite or a bookmark right there. Trust me. And the first one would be solo.to/Movies Merica. That's a website that has all the links to everything that has to do with me, okay? It has my link to my critic list page, my Facebook page, X, Gab, Rumble, okay? All the links to all that stuff. And obviously the reason that you would want to make that a favorite is if you don't want to hunt and peck all over Al Gore's worldwide interweb to find anything that has to do with me, well, don't trouble yourself like that. Just save solo.to/Movies Merica as a favorite and call it a day. And the next one is moviesmerica.com. And the only reason you'd want to go there is if you want to check out the podcast version of my spoiler-free reviews, my Movies Merica live show that I do on Sunday that I was just talking about. You can check out the podcast version of those episodes there, or you can go to some place like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, any place you find podcasts, you'll find Movies Merica, the Movies Merica podcast on any of those platforms right there. But but if you want to check out the episodes that much faster and see them right away, the place to watch them is Rumble or YouTube or X there, because I'll be honest with you. The procrastination bug does hit me a wee little bit, and I do not get the podcast episodes out there as soon as I should there, okay? And then next is like I said, I'm on social media. I'm on X. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Gab. I'm on Rumble. All under @MoviesMerica. Okay, and so then Facebook, I'm on there under Movies Merica. So check me out there. And hey, if you follow me there, and I would definitely encourage you, I implore you to follow me on all the platforms you find me, Movies Merica, under. Follow me, and then if you DM me on X at my Movies Merica account and let me know, hey, Van, I followed you on this platform and that platform, well, I will follow you back, okay? But I don't know to follow you back unless you let me know that you followed me back first, okay? So that's how that works. All right. And then we're moving on to we got the merch store here that I talked about earlier. Check out the merch store link in the description right there. We got solo.to/TillDeathPod Network. And the reason you want to go there is that is the one-stop shop website for all links that have to do with the Till Death Podcast Network. So that's my show. That's other shows like the Whiskey Capitalist Podcast and Sipping with Sean. It has all the links to those right there. So save that as a favorite. And then we got solo.to/TillDeath Studios. That's where you'd want to go if you are in the content creation game like me, or we got Lindy Rig 87 in the live chat there, or Beyond Formal. They're content creators. They have shows on Rumble as well. And so if you're like us and you have a show and you want to spice it up with some cool stuff like that movie Military Moment intro that I played earlier, that's something that you could get made for you if you go to solo.to/TillDeath Studios and contact my man Ian there to get some stuff like that made for you. Okay, so check that out. And then we have solo.to/I'm Sean Cav. That's the website with all the links that have to do with I'm Sean Cav, who was in the live chat earlier there. And so it's going to have links to his past episodes of like his Sipping with Sean show, or his spaces that he does on X, and his music content. You know, he's an author, so he's written books. You get links to his books out there. I'm betting at solo.to/I'm Sean Cav. And then we have the solo.to/the Whiskey Capitalist web address there. And that's where you're going to find all the links that have to do with that wild and wacky show. You check out every Monday and Wednesday night, and every other Tuesday night, the Whiskey Capitalist Podcast. And I'm betting dollars to donuts that solo.to/the Whiskey Capitalist is a great website to save as a favorite that has links to all their past episodes, and we'll have the link to their future episodes right there. So make life easy on yourself as a Whiskey Capitalist Podcast fan and save that as a favorite. And then last, but certainly not least, solo.to/TillDeath Podcast. And that's where you'd go for all the links that have to do with that Till Death Podcast show, which is the flagship show of the Till Death Podcast Network. And that comes on every other Saturday afternoon. And you could do a whole lot worse for websites for the links to the past episodes of the Till Death Podcast and future episodes than the solo.to/TillDeath Podcast website there. So get there and save it as a favorite and call it a day after that right there. But again, I want to thank you guys for checking out the show right there. I mean, it just means a lot to me. Appreciate that. And also to the folks that are watching the recording of this, again, thank you very much. It means a lot to me. And what also means a lot to me is just sending the link to this episode and any other episode that you can think of, or the link to my Movies Merica X page, Movies Merica Rumble page, to anybody that you even remotely suspects likes movies. Okay, just send their link to them, and that would be fantastic. You would be doing me a solid. That is for sure. All right, but like I always say, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya.
Hey, everybody, don't leave yet. Okay? Hey, I got just enough time. I got the police after me, okay? And, oh man, they're gonna get me at any time. I got just enough time to ask you to like this video and also subscribe to this channel if you would, man. You'd be doing me a big favor, okay? And please make sure to like these videos or watch them and then like them, okay? That'd be great. And again, thanks for watching, okay? And subscribe to the Till Death Podcast Network and Movies Merica. I gotta go.